If your hair feels dry, dull, or lifeless, then this green magic mask is going to change everything. Hi, welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to make a Moringa Deep Conditioner that melts into your hair and gives it strength, shine, and hydration. Let's get started, shall we? This formulation consists of 3 phases, which is the oil phase, the water phase, and the cool down phase. I'm going to provide the full ingredients and the measurements at the end of the video, so just keep on watching. So you need shea butter or mango butter, sunflower oil, olive oil. You need your BTMS 50, it is a conditioning emulsifier. You need your emulsifying wax and cetyl alcohol. That is that for the oil phase. Now to the water phase. You need distilled water for this particular formulation. Do not use your tap water or just your home water. You need either distilled water or the ionized water. So I'm just going to use my distilled water here. This water phase consists of about 2 to 3 ingredients. Okay. I'm going to use my distilled water, 66% distilled water, and I'm adding in my vegetable glycerin. Hello there, if this is your first time, hi, welcome here. My name is Z. I make videos on how to formulate skincare and hair care products for beginners. So if you are interested in that, please join the family by subscribing, giving this video a like, and feel free to ask me any questions if you have one. So after adding your vegetable glycerin into the water, the distilled water, you have to mix. And when you begin mixing, it's going to have this cloudy consistency at first, but don't worry, when you keep mixing, it's going to clear up. I guess you now know what we want to do here. It is a double boiling method. We want to heat up our ingredients and make sure it is both on the same temperature. You know, I mentioned this is a Moringa Deep Conditioner. We have to deal with Moringa powder. We have to make our Moringa powder into a slurry. So I'm just going to add 5% of my Moringa powder into a beaker and dilute it with distilled water. Don't worry, I'm going to give you the exact measurement somewhere at the end of the video. This is the slurry. It's our pre-slurry. We need this in order to move on to the next step. Now that we have our water and the oil phase, we're going to add the oil phase into the water phase here and mix. We're just going to give it a good mix with your whisk or your immersion blender. I'm going to use immersion blender. In fact, it is the safest option to use when you are formulating. You can actually do this in 2 ways. It's either you add in your water phase and your oil phase together like this and mix together like this, or you add your water phase, then you add your pre-slurry, which is the slurry moringa we made earlier. Then you mix together before adding in your oil phase. Anyhow you want it, just make sure all the phases are combined together. So here I have added the slurry into the water phase and oil phase, and I gave it a good mix. This is me checking the temperature of my product. When you're formulating, you need accurate measurement of temperature, of the pH level, and all that in order to get a good and perfect end result. Now that you have your emulsion, please make sure it is cool below 40 degrees centigrade. As you can see, mine, it was 38, around 38 or so, before adding in your cool down phase. Because when it is too hot, it can actually harm your product and turn them to be inactive. So here for the cool down phase, I'm using preservative, fragrance. I'm using fragrance in this product and it smelled so nice. Then essential oil. I must mention it is not important to use fragrance in your product if you're just using it at home, okay? But if you want to sell or you just want to try new things, you can use fragrance. It's okay to try new things. Anyways, moving forward, after adding in the cool down ingredient, you know what we are going to do next? We need to mix this together. When you're mixing, you realize your emulsion starts to get more creamier, like it gets softer, it gets fluffy. You can also use a whisk if you have one, okay? You just go with the easy one or what you have. This step is actually very important. Do not forget to scrape the edge of your beaker or your jar or your container, whatever you are using, because we've added the cool down phase, which consists of the preservative, and when there is no preservative at the edge, at the product on the edge, but when you want to pack your product, you transfer it into a jar, into a clean jar, and you pack the edge, like you scrape the edge also into the jar. The edge does not contain preservative, so that can harm your product or make it go bad immediately. When you are done mixing, make sure you cover your product with a cling film or something. Just make sure it is covered and let it sit for 24 to 48 hours. You can also make your product and use it immediately, but this is the formulation that we want to test out and see, whatever happens at the end of the day. So just let it sit for a while. This is my product after 48 hours, if not more, a little bit more. Just give it a little mix, because we've mixed already, and now it is fluffy, it is so creamy, and it also smells so nice. The next thing we are going to do is to check the pH level of the product to make sure it is suitable for your scalp, for your hair health and everything before we start using. If you want to check the pH level of your product, you need a pH meter or a pH strip. Okay, so you need to get 2 grams of your product, of the end product, 2 grams only, and then add in 8 grams of distilled water or deionized water, making it 10 grams in total. Do not mind my struggles. I was struggling to make it just 2 grams. It was like 1.9 and 2.2. I was really struggling, but eventually I got my 2 grams. Then add in your distilled water, 8 grams, exactly 8 grams. After doing that, the next thing you want to do is to mix both the product and the distilled water together till it's very well mixed, and check the pH of your product. The pH level of this hair care product should be around 4.5 to 5.5. If your pH is incorrect, if it is low, you have to increase the pH. If it is high, you have to decrease it. Just make sure you have the correct pH for the hair and the scalp. It is very important. My pH here falls around 5.15, so it is within the normal range. Give your product one last mix, and now it is time to transfer into a clean, dry jar or a pump bottle. I'm just using what I have here. Just make use of what you have. After transferring, you don't need anything. You just need to cover it, and this will sit in a normal temperature room. You don't need to put in the fridge or anything because it contains preservative. It will not get bad even when it comes in contact with water. But do not just let water sit on it when you use it in the washroom or when you use it to wash your hair. It will last up to a year or 2 years depending on your preservative. Actually, it is depending on your preservative and other ingredients. But anyway, this will last up to a year. We used it, we loved it, and as promised, this is the measurement, the ingredients and the measurements used in the video in percentage and in grams. So till I see you in my next video, I hope you get to try this. So stay happy, stay healthy, happy formulating. Bye.